Hello, science and magic. I'm so happy to be here. It's been a while since I've just been solo on this channel. I've had a couple of amazing guests in my recent lives, but I was really excited to hop on and say hi. If you haven't met me yet, welcome. I like to talk about all things nervous system care and working deliciously and feminine energy. And today the topic's going to be about letting go and surrendering. I'm going to share a lot of personal stories. I went through two huge quantum leaps in less than 2 years. And this is my first time really sharing about that. So I want to take today nice and slow. I did write out some notes in a good old fashioned notebook. So feel free to say hi in the chat. Ooh, Rima with the Alignment Academy is here. Definitely go follow her channel. She was one of my amazing guests recently. So let's see where to start. First of all, before I get into anything, I just launched an Instagram broadcast channel, and I'm so excited for this because it's a way for me to share my voice because I can use voice memo. I have a text message list and I utilize that every now and then, but it's a software system. And on this broadcast channel, I can record voice memos. And I get a lot of compliments about my voice and sharing my voice. So I'm having a lot of fun with it. So far, I just launched it last week, but I've shared prayers from my daily prayer journal. I pray every morning in a journal, so I've started sharing clips of that. I did a poll about energy leakage, and just today I talked about, how we're in Scorpio season right now, and what's hidden might be coming to the surface, which can be really overwhelming to the nervous system. And I offered a couple of embodiment techniques to calm and soothe the nervous system. So I've linked that in the chat. Definitely join me in there. Like I said, I'm having a blast with it. Okay, so my quantum leaps. The first one. So my old middle name is Amanda Ashley, and now I go by Amanda Helen. We're going to talk about how I went from A to C because there's a B in the middle too. So Amanda Ashley, this was less than 2 years ago. I was in a relationship of over 5 years and it ended suddenly. And I shared a video about grief on my channel around this time, but literally it ended like within 24 hours. And I wasn't in my home. I kind of had to start new and fresh in all the ways. And it was the middle of winter. It was a really hard time for me. But looking back, I was being held by so many angels and so much spiritual support at the time. And I needed to let that version of me go. And I'll say that up until that point, I'd always struggled with feeling like I was connected to my magnetic energy. Even like as a teenager, like my mom didn't let me wear makeup because she always said, you're a beautiful girl. I don't want you to rely on your looks to get what you want. So even as, I think later in high school, she let me wear makeup, but like early in high school, I wasn't allowed to wear makeup. And I never got to practice with makeup. I never got to dye my hair. We didn't have a lot of money. So whatever I made at my job, I was able to use that for spending, but I never got a lot of help with figuring out style. So I always felt a little disjointed. And this lasted up until my late 20s. And up until this point, actually. So I'm going to label this version of me, Amanda Ashley, kind of dull, a little like not really caring the presentation. I've always loved health and well-being, but I never felt fully magnetic, fully seen in my style, in my sparkle, in my glamour. And something about this breakups will do this too, but it spurred me. One thing after the other happened. Oh, also this version of me, Amanda Ashley, always had to work at a separate job to support her passions. So I had a nonprofit, like a nonprofit that supported artists of all different modalities. I had that for 4 years. It was called Face Forward. It was amazing, but I always had to work to support that passion. Or as I'm starting my, my current business, I was having to work to support that passion. So they were two different things. So then this breakup happened, and I was kind of forced. I mean, I was going to maybe live with my mom for a little bit, but I found the most beautiful apartment. And I ended up getting this apartment. Like, I brought in the deposit, and it was like right off of my favorite part of the city, like 2 blocks off of my favorite street. And my first time living by myself. Not only that, but my business just started booming within like weeks. So my business took off. I was able to support myself in my apartment, and I called this version Amanda Levesque, so my old last name. And I was able to have the means and the time to really put into my style, to like learn how to do makeup, to do my nails even. I was getting lash extensions. I mean, I was loving this version of myself. I had a lot of time to take long baths, to do inner work, to self-reflect. And this was a period of about 8 weeks, I would say. But I loved this version of myself. I felt so, so, so magnetic. I'd finally, I mean, just to be a realized business owner, to have everything that I made come to me through the work that I was loving so much was a dream come true. Supporting myself that way fully by living on my own felt huge. And this energy of where I was at was so content and so vibrant. I was dancing all the time, going out, doing Latin dancing, salsa, bachata. I was going to dance lessons. And I just had this freedom of time and space and schedule, and it felt amazing. It was a huge quantum leap, huge. So from Amanda Ashley, kind of dull, a little awkward, a little disembodied as far as work goes, into Amanda Levesque, which is more of this realized version of myself. This led to, I would say, 8 weeks later, I met my now husband. And I'll say that during this time, I was getting so many invitations for dates. I didn't even, go on any dating website or anything, but I was getting so many invitations. I was so magnetic because I was in this energy of I don't need anything from anybody. I was figuring out my glow. I was so content with where I was. And as far as I was concerned, I was just going to be single and do inner work for a year at least. Like, I just wanted to just land and be in this stage of my life. And my now husband was in a dance class and approached me after dance and asked me out. And I was saying yes to dates, but I wasn't looking to date, if that makes sense. I was just saying yes to whatever came my way. And there was a lot of invitations, which I just found so interesting. And my now husband, he's so amazing. He just really swept me off my feet, and he kept coming towards me, and he kept offering to do things for me. I remember that even on his birthday, he had me drive my car to him, and he fixed my car on his birthday. That's what he did. He fixed up there was some dents from a little fender bender I got into. He worked on the wheels. I remember he helped me hang some shelves in my apartment to help showcase like my water vessels and things like that. And this whole time I wasn't never thinking like, okay, I'm looking for a husband. I'm looking to be married. I need something from you. I was enjoying my flow. I was enjoying where I was at, and he kept coming towards me. And we would go out dancing all the time, and we had so much fun. We would go inner tubing down the river throughout the summer. He has a motorcycle, so we'd go on motorcycle rides. And one thing kind of led to the other, and here I am, less than 2 years later. I am now a wife, I am a mother, and I'm living in a completely different space. I'm living in a beautiful home in the suburbs, and there's trees outside of all my windows. Like, I can't wait. Once the weather gets nicer, because we're in November right now, I'm going to film some yoga classes in our backyard, and the trees are just stunning. So this version is Amanda Helen. And I'm keeping my new last name private, but Helen is my new middle name. So when I changed my last name, I also changed my middle name. I've never loved the name Ashley. It doesn't hold meaning to me. But Helen is my grandmother's name on my mom's side. And she is still living to this day. And I'm close to her. And it means a lot to me to hold her name as my middle name. Her name also means sun ray or shining light. So I love this meaning of Amanda is one who is loved. Helen is shining light. And I love how this holds an energy grid in my business. So I went from Amanda Ashley to Amanda Levesque to Amanda Helen. And I want to talk about the energy of that energetic transformation. I'm right now a little over 6 months postpartum. So I've been a mom now for 6 months. And oh, wow, I look back and I'm like, has this not even been 2 years? It's incredible. Time has totally collapsed. And I've done some reflecting about what needed to happen for me to be in these huge quantum leaps, because I've been stretched. My nervous system's been stretched. My energy's been stretched. I've had to let go of so much. And so as I'm sharing, feel free to ask questions in the chat, to interact with me. You all know that I love that. I'm going to take a sip of my drink for a second. The transformation is so inspirational. Thank you. I think the most amazing part of this is that I wasn't expecting any of it. None of it. I never willed any of this into existence. I never strategized. I was never in my head. It just happened and I unfolded into it. And there were things I did to unfold, but I'll say that like I had a sacred vision script, which I've shared in other videos. So like I did a lot of envisioning. I knew how I wanted to feel, but I was really in a state of surrender, especially for that 6 months, like when I was Amanda Levesque. Kind of like a foggy, that period of time where I was in between that second quantum leap was really holding a state of deep surrender, which I was pushed into after my breakup, of just like, okay, what, and I do a lot of like prayer. So like, okay, God, what will you have me do? What do you want from me right now? So before I talk into how and what, I want to talk about my new course because I'm so excited about it. It's called Nervous System of a Goddess. It was channeled through me as I was pregnant, which I think that for me and my body, pregnancy and giving birth was the most connected to feminine creation I've ever felt in my life. You want to talk about surrender, stretching the body, releasing, like, wow. Portaling life through your system. So I think it's really amazing that this course was channeled through me during this time. And then I hosted it live postpartum. And it's recorded, it's ready to go, it's ready to purchase. You can purchase it right now. It's the body of work I'm honestly the most proud of at this point. I talk about, so there's 4 levels. Level 1 is softening. That's the level that's pre-recorded and ready to go right now. I've linked it in the chat. I'll link it in the comments. But I talk about the importance of softening to connect into feminine energy. We can listen about feminine energy all day, but until we actually sit down, understand the nervous system, and then understand how the nervous system works in regards to actually yielding and letting go and how that interplays with safety, it's going to be really hard to soften. So I include meditations, I include yoga practices, I include something called yin yoga, which I'm going to talk about in a different video because it's the embodiment of feminine energy. Yin yoga, if you don't know it, look it up. And we just go through the different branches of the nervous system. I invite you to take it slowly. There's reflections, and you'll have live calls with me. maybe once a month, but maybe a few times a year, I'll just pop on a live call and you can ask questions because we all have different nervous systems, and all those nervous systems need different things at different times. So I can, answer your questions and tailor the content towards you. The second level is glow. And that one I am working on refining, but I definitely urge you to do soften first, and then you'll go to level 2, which is glow, which is about stepping into beauty, magnetism, shine, and then really amplifying your aura and your heart so that invitations come to you. Level 3 will be receive, and level 4 will be surrender. But those are coming, and I'll probably do those in 2024, and I'll do them live. So if you would like to take a live course with me, start right now, soften. It's such a good time of year to do it, and then work your way through glow as well. So again, link in the chat. Okay. So what are the components that I use to get through these huge, huge quantum leaps? And you can go to old videos of mine and you can see the difference in my energy and how I present myself. It hasn't even, well, some of them it's been, I started my YouTube channel a few months before this all started. And I want to give a special thanks to my coach, Mina Irfan, the universe guru, because I think a big part of this was being in her container and going through her programs and having her look up to as a role model in so many ways. She's the one who encouraged me to start YouTube, and I will continue to thank her in all my videos. So my first thing is I had to let go. I had to let go. And what did I let go of? First and foremost, I let go of my identity twice. So I let go of that identity of Amanda Ashley. Now, identity is different than spirit or identity. Okay, there's two parts of this. We have spirit, which stays the same. That's constant. That lives in your heart. That's your energy. That's your essence. And then there's personality. And I think identity really lies in personality. And personality, we can construct, deconstruct. It is often a series of beliefs that were given to us when we were children, from our caregivers, from society. So we can look at our beliefs, rework them, we can re-embody how we are, and then showcase a different version of us. Now, my embodiment as Amanda Ashley was very different than my embodiment as the vibrant, realized Amanda Levesque, which is so different than my identity right now as Amanda Helen, who still has that vibrant business owner quality, but with these added layers of wife and of mother, which are both huge identities to add on. It was hard, and we're going to talk about grief. We're going to talk about nervous system care. But first of all, I'm just going to go through what I had to let go, because there's grief in this. When you let go of a different identity of yours, there's a grief. The next thing I let go of was my home. That very first shift, I let go of my apartment. I love my home. Wherever I'm at, I love it. I love being home. I love resting at home. I love waking up at home. I mean, I could spend so much time at home. I love it. And it was hard for me at each of these occasions to let go of home. But if you had told me I would be where I'm at right now 2 years ago, I probably would have had a panic attack. Like what, not just home, but like my family. And I love the home I'm in right now. It's like I said, it's super gorgeous. I just feel so grateful. My husband's a big part of why we are where we are right now. Wardrobe. I let go of my wardrobe both times. I mean, many times actually, because I let go of it as Amanda Ashley, that drab, dull, all the clothes like I kind of liked, I just kind of hung on to. I used to get a lot of hand-me-downs from friends, and I was really nonchalant about the clothes. And then as Amanda Levesque, I was very particular about my clothes. I loved shopping. I loved buying new clothes. Then, as I became pregnant, I mean, I had to formulate a new sense of style around my growing belly and what that looked like and how that felt. And then postpartum, same thing. There's been a ton of stages where I've had to maneuver my wardrobe in a way that feels good to me. And that's something that I love doing. I love being vibrant first and foremost from the inside out. And then I love dressing that vibrancy up. I had to let go of a lot of stuff. And some of this was involuntary. Like I didn't necessarily want to, but I had to because of space. I've moved quite a bit, and you'll see that in my videos over the past couple of years. Like I have a ton of different locations. And in that moving, it's every time you move, I feel like you just purge stuff. You're like, do I actually use this? Do I want to lug this in like a truck from A to B and pull it with me? Like, does it mean something to me? Does it matter? And it forces you to look at that. And so I've done that probably 4 times in the past 2 years. And stepping into these different identities, I've just let go of things. I've let go of a lot of books. I've let go of a lot of things that once held meaning to me, but just didn't feel like I wanted to take them with me into certain chapters. So I've let go of a lot of stuff. I've sold a lot of stuff. I've given a lot of stuff away, a lot of physical items. During pregnancy, I let go in my body more than I've ever let go in my whole life, just to experience the expanding of the belly as the baby grows in you, as the baby grew in me, right? Like my diaphragm was pushed up. All of my organs were kind of rearranged. My belly was expanding forward into the world. And there's really no, you can't suck that in, I was really excited about my baby bump, right? But there's a stretching that happens. And then in birth, your bones literally separate in your pelvis. I'm going to try to use words actually, because every single person's pregnancy is so different and their birth is so different. So in my labor, my bones separated, and there was a surrender and a stretching and a letting go in a way that I've never experienced in my whole life. And postpartum, letting go of, they say that, okay, I can't wait for my body to come back. My body will never come back. That's how I feel. Like, yes, I feel in shape and I feel strong and I feel flexible again, but my body's forever changed. And so letting go of the actual body of Amanda Levesque and stepping into this new body after what I've experienced as a pregnant woman, giving birth, postpartum, my hormones have shifted, my neural pathways have changed around. It's been huge. So letting go of my physical body as I knew it and stepping into this new version. I've had to let go of a lot of my time. I've had to let go of my time as a mother. I used to have so much time to spend, I used to take hour-long baths. And I can take baths now, but they're not an hour long anymore. And I know that will come back. I have a very little one. My time as far as there's no longer prayer journaling for an hour and reflecting and all this stuff. Even when I do my makeup, there's no longer just zoning out and doing my makeup. I usually have my little one on the floor next to me. I bring a floor mirror down and I sit on the floor and he'll crawl up to me. And yeah, my time is just kind of fragmented right now in a different way. And so I've had to let go of a lot of that time. If I go hang out with a friend, I'm often bringing my baby with me. Or if I don't just have 2 hours to just spend, if that makes sense. I know I have a very finite amount of time because right now my priority is my baby and my priority is going to be my family now moving forward. So I don't have time like I used to have time. Not that it's a shortage of time, it's just a different way to spend time. So I've had to let go of my perspective on that. I've had to let go of my name, literally. And this gives me goosebumps. I never thought that it would feel so refreshing to let go of my name. Those of you who have known me for many years have always known me as Amanda Levesque. That was me in college. That was my website, amandalevesque.com. But I felt like it was very appropriate for me to switch my last name to the name of my husband's and my family's. And then it felt really good to switch my name from my middle name, Ashley, to Helen. And is a little bit of a pain to do legally and on the email and the website and all this stuff, but wow, does it feel so refreshing and does it feel so right? And I've had to let that go. So these are the things that I've let go. And I want to share an excerpt about letting go. And then we're going to get into nervous system care. I'm taking this live a lot slower than I normally take it. So feel free to say hi if you're tuning in, where you're tuning in from. Thank you for tuning in. Also curious what you all feel about letting go. If it's something that's hard for you, or if it's natural and something that you've had to let go of to be where you're at in life. I would be so curious to know those things. So this book is Letting Go, The Pathway of Surrender by David R. Hawkins. I love it so much. So he's saying that letting go, when we think of letting go, we think of like, oh, let's like shake this off. Like, let's like get this out of us. He's actually saying letting go means feeling whatever we're feeling fully and completely and letting it be there, and then it moves. So, and this is specifically with emotions. So for every state that I was in, there were certain emotions that came up. So he says, the first step is to allow yourself to have the feeling without resisting it, venting it, fearing it, condemning it, or moralizing about it. It means to drop judgment and to see that it is just a feeling. The technique is to be with the feeling and surrender all efforts to modify it in any way. So you know how when we're feeling angry, we try to feel peace. What if we just let ourselves feel anger without modifying it? Notice it for its feelings. Let go of wanting to resist the feeling. It is resistance that keeps the feeling going. Okay, so that's the first part of this. And I'm going to talk about grief now because there was grief that came up. I would say for the first quantum leap from Amanda Ashley to Amanda Levesque, there definitely was grief because it was so fast. There was grief of my relationship for sure. But stepping into the vibrant Amanda Levesque, like there wasn't so much grief about losing that version of myself because I've almost waited for my whole life to find her. A lot of grief came from Amanda Levesque and this new version of me, especially as a mother, because my time is so different. And I've had to let go of a lot of the time I used to spend with myself. I love being a mother. Don't get me wrong. Like I love my son so much. But because I'd stepped into Amanda Levesque and waited for her for my whole life and got to experience her for a few months, and she became so magnetic that I got the added levels of also becoming a wife and a mother. I had to, there was more grief of letting that go, if that makes sense. And I've heard that this happens a lot with parents, especially mothers with the hormones, that the transformation happens and that there's a grieving of the old self, the old way you used to spend time, being seen, going from maiden to mother, these identities, and a lot of societal conditioning around motherhood. So there was a lot of grief. And so you want to take time for the losses that you feel as you quantum leap. Sometimes you might be like, oh my gosh, yes, I'm getting rid of that part of me. Sometimes you might be like, wait, what's happening? This life is just moving through me and I wasn't ready. That was my experience the second time, at least. I mean, I was ready. I'm so grateful, but like, whoa, it was fast. The whole thing's fast. And I'm so glad I'm here. But you want to take the time to just feel your grief. And like this book says, feel the feelings of grief. So when I feel grief, I feel a heaviness in my chest. I feel a pulling down towards the earth. I feel sadness behind my eyes, or like a welling up of water, tears behind my eyes. And to just be with that emotion of grief helps it to pass, helps it to heal. So think of what your sensations of grief are. Like when you quantum leap, know that you're going to be letting your old self go, your old personality, and you want to feel that. And oftentimes that old personality really fights for life because it's dying. Like it's literally a death. It's a death of your old life, your old self. Quantum leaps are massive. It's not just a small change. It's like stepping into a whole different timeline, a whole different reality. And the fact that I've experienced two in 2 years, I mean, I'm looking back and I'm like, wow, it's incredible. There were times, the Lyman Academy says, there were times when it came very natural and times when it was hard for letting go. Yeah, I'm still wrapping my head around letting go because it's not something you can force yourself to do. And I think a lot of it is safety. Like we can only let go when we feel safe. And then it's almost like it just happens. A question, did you still have the same clothes while working on your nervous system? Or how can I reintroduce new stuff to my closet? I've been working on my nervous system this whole time, so we'll talk about that. As far as my closet, I started in Pinterest. So that was a way for me to start getting inspiration of how to put outfits together because when I go shopping, I can get really overwhelmed. Like there's so many options. And I I was trying to figure out my style. So Pinterest is nice because it just curates outfits for you and you can say I like it, I don't like it, I like it. You can pin them, you can put them on different boards. And then when I was out, I started to see different outfits. Like I was like, oh, that skirt. Like it was like a subconscious thing. So that's a way that you could start reintroducing stuff to your closet. And then you can also you'll start to get the hang of like, this brand works well for me. And then you always know that this size fits you. So you can order stuff online. It takes a little bit of upfront investment to kind of figure out your style, but once you figure it out, it's pretty easy to, in my opinion, to sparse out pieces when you go out or when you're looking online. Also, Kibbe, with Kibbe, it works with your specific energetic body type, which I think is really interesting. So that helps guide me as well, as far as like what clothes flow well with your body. Okay, there's another. Okay, this part too. To be surrendered means to have no strong emotions about a thing. It's okay if it happens, and it's okay if it doesn't. When we are free, there's letting go of attachments. We can enjoy a thing, but we don't need it for our happiness. This is what happened with my now amazing husband, is when we were dating, I didn't need him for my happiness, but I had so much fun with him. And now he's my husband. And I was just happy. So when we are free, there's a letting go of attachments. We can enjoy a thing, but we don't need it for our happiness. And I think so often when we're looking for something from someone, when we have the energy of neediness, whether it's a person we're dating, whether it's a client, they can feel that, and that's repelling, especially if you're a feminine essence being, especially if you're a human design projector. And if you can just decide to be happy and to be magnetic and to glow, and that person is an add-on to that, that's a really magnetic place to be. I remember I did a YouTube with Lucy. I just actually had her on my channel as we're both new moms now, and we were talking about being new mothers. But in one of our videos together about manifestation, she talked about how surrender is being okay with not being okay. So often we're so nervous to not be okay. But when we're okay not being okay, that is a state of surrender. So in this state, grief, being okay in a state of grief, because we know it's just an emotion. Okay, it's surrendered, and then it moves, it's let go of. I'm 3 years in my marriage and left my home where I lived with my family that I now miss so much. It's better now, but all I think about is them. They're just 3 hours away, but I want to be there. Thank you for sharing this. So you miss them. What's that? Eat, pray, love. I remember there was this part of that movie's coming to mind where Julia Roberts, the character in the movie, she says, I don't remember the specifics of this, but there's this line. I think she misses, oh yeah, she went through a divorce and she misses her husband, I think, her ex-husband. Or someone died, whatever. Anyway, someone's missing someone. And the prompt is here, whoever she's talking to or this character is talking to says, so miss them, miss them. Hold them in your heart, miss them, love them, and then let it go. Miss them, love them, let it go. And so what I would suggest for you is to just feel that longing, feel the missing, feel your grief, feel the letting go. Feel it as sensation, let it live there, and then hold your family in your heart and send them heart energy, metta, which is loving kindness. Send them golden light, send them protection. And when you're with them, be with them in physical form, but you can also be with them in spirit and in energy as well. So every day, pray for them. Every day, feel gratitude for them. Feel your grief and also feel what's in your body. Okay, next part of this, nervous system care. Where are we at with time? Okay, 36 minutes. So nervous system. Oof. Thank goodness I knew how to take care of my nervous system throughout all of this, because that could have been just, I think I could have self-sabotaged, to be honest. And there were times where I think I almost did, because this was the most intense nervous system work I've ever had to do in my life. Like I had to pull from all my resources. So when I say resource, this is a term talked about in nervous system care, which means finding the things that feel familiar to you, that feel good to you, that feel that make you feel warm and fuzzy. For me, that's going to yoga at the studio that I've been going to for over 10 years. The environment's familiar, the practices are familiar. I love moving in my body. I love not having my cell phone with me. I love being guided by instruction. I love it. So leaning into that was really big for me, especially after the breakup. And then, when I was pregnant, I had to let that go for a while. And that was really, really hard because I couldn't do yoga like I used to in a pregnant body and for the first several weeks postpartum. Prayer has been huge for me. So I've done prayer journaling ever since I've been, I want to say preteen. I mean, I've been prayer journaling for as long as I can remember. And so I wake up in the morning, I say, Dear God, and then I write my prayers. That was something that I've been doing this whole time. Sometimes I do prayers out loud, like I'll make an altar and do my prayers that way. But praying throughout this whole thing and surrendering these quantum leaps to something greater, something bigger. I'll pray in the car. I ask for the support of angels. I ask for my friends to pray for me. I ask for others to pray for me. Like even when I was going through my birth, I had this, I'll do a separate video about this, but long story short, I asked several of my friends once I went into labor to light candles that I had given out and pray for me during labor. So prayer has been a huge resource for me. My spirituality is a huge resource for me throughout this whole thing. I've had to work with healing practitioners. So sometimes it's just been too much for me to just hold on my own. And through the breakup, I'd say I could handle it more, like going to yoga, praying. I had a lot more time to myself, taking long baths. I had a lot more time to grieve and to cry and time to myself and time to just reflect. And I know how to take care of my nervous system if I have the time. When I was pregnant, I had a lot of time as well. And I just was in a different body, so I couldn't quite do yoga like I used to do yoga, for example. I couldn't go, I don't like to run a ton, but sometimes getting a big cardio blast is really nice to release activation. But so when I was pregnant, I worked with a chiropractor for my structure, which helps the nervous system. I worked with an osteopath to work with my connective tissue. I got a massage every other week. Holy cow, that was huge for me to just get a massage, because when I was pregnant, I just wanted to be like, I just wanted to receive. So receiving touch and grounding into my body felt so amazing. And I've gotten acupuncture since I've been pregnant all the way up until right now. Like I just had acupuncture today. So that's been huge for nervous system support and for working with my hormones. I, throughout these leaps, have had a couple of sessions in somatic experiencing, which is a type. I actually have a video up with Kevin McCarthy, and I can link that below. But somatic experiencing is working with the nervous system through feeling it. And you do verbal processing, but you more feel into the body and process emotions through the body. So I've had some big triggers come up, and I've had to get some sessions with that. I started working with a therapist in third trimester of pregnancy, and who specializes in the transition to motherhood. So has helped me throughout postpartum up until now, still work with a therapist. So I've had the support of so many healing practitioners, and I don't know what I would do without them, to be honest. I highly recommend reaching out for support and getting professional help if you have things that are beyond your ability to cope. It's been massive for me. I've had to lean into, even like, I was a part of a mom's group postpartum. We all brought our newborns and we just sat there so tired with our newborns, but to be in community was really big. I'm a part of another mom's group we all have kids under 1. So just having that supportive community. And it's important to feel safe as much as possible. So when you're going through nervous system or quantum leaps, your nervous system is like, what's happening? Like, can I hold this? Everything's unfamiliar to me. Think of all the things I just said I was letting go of: identity, home, wardrobe, things, body, time. I mean, my whole life has changed twice in massive ways. And so my nervous system, and then becoming a new mother, you're just programmed to be on high alert in order to protect your child. It's just the way that it is, with sleep, with just, I'm just more tuned to hearing his sounds. So if you go through a quantum leap and your whole environment changes, do what you can to seek out feelings of being safe, to seek out safe places. So that might be out in nature. That might be, if you move, set up safety in one of the rooms that you're in, even though it's new. Like every time you move, or sleep somewhere new, there's a part of your nervous system that's like, is this safe to be here? I haven't sniffed this out yet. So you're not quite resting, right? So do what you need to do to feel safe. Like seek out safe relationships. I cannot stress this enough going through quantum leaps. Work with your nervous system. Understand it. And again, I offer this sort of education. You can sign up for the course right now. It's in the chat. You can understand what your nervous system is, what the branches are, what the signals of your nervous system are. You can spend time with it. I feel like there's so much cueing right now in the self-development world about the nervous system, but really, what is the nervous system? Learn about it, you guys. I cannot stress it enough. We are, yes, consciousness, yes, energy, but we live in these physical animal bodies, and we still experience the world through a primitive nervous system. So we live in a modern society. We're conscious beings, and we have a primitive nervous system in many ways. We do have a part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, which helps us to engage in high-level thinking. We also have the heart, which has its own nervous system. But all of this stuff, your life can become so much, I don't want to say easier, but smoother if you understand your nervous system. That's my rant on that. And then you'll understand what I mean with feelings of safety, because it's hard for me when I talk about this stuff because there's so much to say about that. And it feels like, oh my gosh, I could just go on a whole rabbit hole about this. But I have a course about it. And then attending to triggers. So this is huge. I mean, when you go through quantum leaps, If you don't feel like you can hold the expansion, you'll self-sabotage. So an example for this with me was before I got married, I had a like, I don't want to say a panic attack, but I had a big nervous system activation. I don't know if I've shared this on YouTube, but growing up, my father, he's now passed away. He passed away about 10 years ago. He was an alcoholic and he was abusive physically and emotionally. And him and my mom were married and they divorced when I was 6. It was not safe. Like, that marriage was not safe. In fact, my mom had to run away from the marriage and move to be safe. So in my mind, marriage was not safe. And it also led to divorce and was messy. And so I had to book a somatic experience session before my wedding because all these triggers were coming up where my inner child was saying, alert, 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 this isn't safe. So because I know about the nervous system and I could sense it in my body, now this didn't make it easier, but I had consciousness as to what was going on. I reached out for support. I was able to quantum leap and land in my marriage, and I now love being a wife. Triggers come up. They're going to come up. And, I think a lot of people only share, I mean, myself included, I share like the highs of growth and quantum leaping, but there's a lot of messiness that comes within it. And I think it's really important. I mean, for me, I like to maintain privacy, right? So I don't like to share everything, but I think it's important to know that when you look at like the immense growth that happens with some people, and the, like, I don't know, the sharing of the highlights. Again, I've done a video about this with my friend Lauren about social media. Just know that underneath that are often shadows, often triggers, often nervous system activation. And that stuff is normal. It's like there's summers and there's winters. And can we hold both of them? And they both add depth to life, their seasons, their cycles. So that's what I have for you today. We're rounding up at like 45 minutes. If you have questions, write them in the chat. Say hi in the chat. Definitely give this video a like. And again, check out my Nervous System of a Goddess course, please. Level 1 Soften is ready for purchase right now. Level 2 Glow will be ready within the next week or so, but I highly suggest you must go through Soften first before you go to Glow. It's really, really important, and it's important not to rush it. This course is designed to help you not only understand your nervous system, but to spend time with it. So just to recap, for those of you who joined late, I launched an Instagram broadcast channel too that I'm going to share. Wait, okay, so I'm going to put this. My broadcast channel is so fun because I'm sharing through voice memo, and a lot of you guys love my voice. So I'm putting that in the chat again. So to recap, I went through 2 huge quantum leaps, and I talked about that in the beginning of this video. So if you tuned in late, definitely go back and this will make a lot more sense. I share more than I've shared before about my personal life in this video. So this is me being vulnerable. And to do those things, to go through these quantum leaps, I really had to let go. I let go of everything, multiple times, like more than I've ever let go of my life. I let go of my physical environment. I let go of my wardrobe. I let go of my time. I let go of my body. I let go of my personality. I mean, it was wild. And the next is grieving. So letting yourself grieve the loss when you quantum leap, grieving the loss of the identity, grieving the loss of the things, grieving the loss, just like let yourself grieve, let yourself feel whatever you're feeling, even if you're not grieving, if like anger comes up, if sadness comes up, if whatever, fear comes up, like be with the emotions that come up, and then take care of your nervous system. Please, please, please understand it. Even if you don't take my course, like look up nervous system videos, like understand what is meant when the words nervous system are spoken. Hello, I just discovered you yesterday. Welcome, Tyler. I love your videos. I'm so glad. 2 for emotional projector. Welcome. And then if you don't know, if you're tuned in, you're like, what's a projector? Human design is a way of looking at the body's energy systems, and you can put your birth information in and figure out what energy system that you have. And I'm a projector. So I have a lot of human design projectors who are following me. Okay, if you all don't have any more questions, I'll probably just leave it here. Again, please like this video. That's a really good way to support the work that I'm putting into the world, especially if you engage with my videos and enjoy what I'm bringing. It helps to spread those videos and share them with others who will resonate. It helps support my content on the platform of YouTube. So please do that. Yeah, I'm so excited I am where I am. Like, honestly, I love my little family so much. I love my husband. I love my little baby. I love being a wife and mother. I want to say too, like, I know I brought Mina up, but she was a big part of helping me to heal that trigger of being scared to be married, because the work that she puts out there around marriage and just marriage, I guess, and relationships, it helped normalize it for me and see it as something that actually offers safety. And my husband has offered me so much safety throughout all of this. I couldn't have done this without him. Like, the structure and the support that he has held, the will that he gave me during the hard times, the providing, there's just so much. So my heart is overflowing with gratitude for that. I will actually go back and watch. I'm very interested in quantum. Great. Okay, well, I hope to see you again soon. I am going to do a video about yin yoga and feminine embodiment. I want to do another video about third trimester, my experience in third trimester. I'm slowly plugging away at capturing kind of my pregnancy journey. And yeah, thank you so much for being here.